I witnessed the Israeli Defense Forces shooting at the crowds of Palestinians. I witnessed the Israeli Defense Forces firing a main gun tank round from the Merkava tank into a crowd of people, destroying a car of civilians that were simply driving away from the site. I witnessed mortar rounds being fired at the crowds of people to keep them controlled.
As a professional soldier with a very long career, what was your professional opinion of what was happening?
My professional opinion of how the sites were established was what I would describe as amateur. Inexperienced, untrained, no idea of how to conduct operations of this magnitude. That would be my most benign assessment. In my most frank assessment, I would say that they're criminal. In my entire career, have I never witnessed the level of brutality and use of indiscriminate and unnecessary force against a civilian population, an unarmed, starving population. I've never witnessed that in all of the places I've been deployed to war until I was in Gaza at the hands of the IDF and US contractors.
Based on the knowledge you have, do you think that you were a witness then to war crimes? I think you're saying that very emphatically.
Without question, I witnessed war crimes. I witnessed war crimes being by the Israeli Defense Forces, without a doubt, using artillery rounds, mortar rounds, firing tank rounds into unarmed civilians is a war crime.
This young little boy, his name is Amir.
At his post as an armed security agent at an aid distribution site established by the U.S. and Israeli-backed GHF, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, retired U.S. Army Green Beret Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Aguilar said a young boy, barefoot and emaciated, approached him.
And he was walking towards us, and we thought maybe he was hurt, or maybe he was asking for some more food, because all he had in his arms was a small bag of rice, half a bag of flour, some lentils that he had picked up from the ground. He comes to me and he holds my hand and he kisses it. And as he was standing there, we were both looking at him, and he was very emaciated. He had no shoes on, probably hasn't eaten in days. And oh, by the way, when they walk 8 to 12 kilometers to get to these sites, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation mechanism provides no water. Zero. He raises his hands, and they're small, fragile. You can see bones sticking, just the bones through the skin. And he places his hands on my face, and he kissed me. And he looked at me in the eyes, and he says, "Thank you." He said it in English. "Thank you." And he collected his items, and he walked back to the group.
Moments later, Amir was shot by Israeli forces with machine guns while leaving the aid site alongside other civilians.
And the IDF were shooting at the crowd. They're shooting into this crowd. And Palestinians, civilians, human beings, are dropping to the ground, getting shot. And Amir was one of them. Amir walked 12 kilometers to get food, got nothing but scraps, thanked us for it, and died.
In late July, the former Green Beret officer told U.S. Senator Van Hollen that UG Solutions, the private security firm he had been hired by, was actually operating on behalf of Israeli forces, who had explicitly ordered snipers to shoot unarmed Palestinian children.
It's kids. It's children. Children.
Mr. Aguilar was terminated from his contract with UG Solutions on June 13th, 2025, due to poor performance, volatile conflicts with staff, and erratic behavior. Since termination, Mr. Aguilar has spread a false narrative to media outlets around the world, while at the same time begging UG Solutions to hire him back. Mr. Aguilar's activities in the last several weeks make clear that he's making good on his threats to, in his own words, make UG Solutions, BUG Solutions, worst nightmare if they didn't hire him back. So 4 points. Number 1, Mr. Aguilar claims he resigned from his role at UG Solutions, GHF's security partner. Fact, Mr. Aguilar was fired. On June 13th, Mr. Aguilar was terminated for misconduct. Mr. Aguilar failed to perform basic tasks that were his responsibility. After being terminated, Mr. Aguilar pleaded for his job back. On June 14th, Mr. Aguilar wrote to the company leadership asking them to reconsider, and offering to work in any capacity. As late as July 4th, Mr. Aguilar informed UG leadership that he had submitted a new application for work in Gaza. He wrote to the company on June 14th, quote, "I do not want to leave. I understand that my current contract as the JTOC operator is terminated. Fine, but I can be put on a new contract. If other personnel liking that or not is the fear, then UG is being held hostage. I can be of huge value to this company and contract. Take advantage of me as an asset." Now, Mr. Aguilar threatened UG Solutions with retribution if he wasn't hired back. And so the next day, on July 15th, he wrote that he could be, quote, "your best friend or your worst nightmare. Stop effing around, put me back to work, and let's get this mission done." In a June 21st message, Mr. Aguilar cited his personal family needs when begging to be rehired. Mr. Aguilar ended the message with, quote, "Figure something out, or I'm on a plane come Tuesday, and the gloves are off." Mr. Aguilar swung between begging for another chance to work for the company and making these hyperbolic accusations. Mr. Aguilar continued to ask for additional opportunities with the company. Again, as late as July 4th, Mr. Aguilar informed the company leadership that he had submitted a new application to come back to work in Gaza. Despite Mr. Aguilar's many attempts to be rehired, the company held firm. Mr. Aguilar's behavior barred him from further work in a complex environment like Gaza. And as the reality sunk in for him, it seems that Mr. Aguilar then became more hostile. Ultimately, Mr. Aguilar has made good on his threat and began to speak to a number of media outlets regarding these false claims. Number two, Mr. Aguilar was very enthusiastic about his work with UG Solutions. His claims that he raised about GHF operations to his superiors is false. Fact, there are many text messages from Mr. Aguilar praising the work he was doing in Gaza, delivering and distributing humanitarian aid to a starving and displaced population. We'll be projecting many of these up on the screen. On May 28th, Mr. Aguilar distributed a signal message praising UG Solutions, and he said, quote, "delivering and distributing 318.3 tons of humanitarian aid to a starving and displaced population." He wrote, "Sentiment in the media, despite whatever people may think about the politics of the situation, your presence, meaning UG's presence, GHF's presence, is seen as a good thing." On the same day, Mr. Aguilar wrote to UG Solutions leadership, "This is a very rewarding mission. I'm excited every day." These are the relevant times during which Mr. Aguilar was claiming to have sent a memo to the company raising issues. On May 31, he shared a similar sentiment with his colleagues, and he wrote to them, "Be proud. Be humble. You are making a difference in the future of this region and geopolitics around the globe. That's something to hang your hat on at the end of a hard week." On June 10th, Mr. Aguilar sent another message, this time with a picture of a young girl carrying a bag of aid. He wrote, quote, "hungry, tired, filthy, with a smile on her face. How? Why? Because you've given her hope for a tomorrow, hope that things will improve. Life will get better, a feeling she likely has not known in a long time. You're making a difference every day, every hour, every minute." That's how he was describing the work of these contractors at the time. But while Mr. Aguilar praised UG's success, the company became concerned with his substandard performance and his repeated workplace conflicts. Fact 3. Mr. Aguilar fabricated a memo that he claims he sent on May 28, 2025. Fact. We have evidence obtained from the metadata, you can see this on the screen, in the memorandum that the document in question was fabricated by Mr. Aguilar and backdated to May 28th. The actual date of creation, which you can see, June 21st, 2025, was the same day that Mr. Aguilar sent the memo to company personnel and to the press. Notably, on May 29th, one day after Mr. Aguilar claims to have sent this memo to UG leadership, he sent a flurry of messages to the team praising them for their work. Please see the screenshots on your screen, and I will read some of them here. Mr. Aguilar wrote, quote, "Your efforts have brought families back together and have severely weakened the image of Hamas." He continues, quote, "It's a privilege and an honor to see America's best, doing America's most important work in places most Americans will only ever see on TV or read about." Then he said, alongside pictures of several smiling Palestinian civilians, including a young boy, he said, quote, "With the addition of more teammates on their way and new SOPs, standard operating procedures, being implemented, the schedule will become steady, I assure you. Great job." On July 29th, Mr. Aguilar appeared on a podcast in which he showed pictures of the very same young boy, pictured in the text on the May 29th text to his team, the same text where he wrote, "Great job." Now, on his podcast appearance, he claims for the first time this little boy was shot dead by the IDF. Not true. Also, the circumstances in which Mr. Aguilar was in Gaza prevented him from drafting a memo like this in May. The company did not give Mr. Aguilar a computer. Personnel in the ops center, just like Mr. Aguilar, were completely occupied 24/7. Mr. Aguilar neither had the time nor the resources to draft the memorandum that he claims to have drafted on May 28th. Last point, number 4. Mr. Aguilar spoke to the media and provided video testimony stating that UG Solutions contractors fired on civilians seeking aid. Mr. Aguilar alleged that these UG Solutions personnel used stun grenades, tear gas, and other non-lethal munitions in a manner that causes undue harm to civilians. This is false. While it's true that UG Solutions personnel use pepper spray, smoke, and flashbangs to prevent trampling in the crowds of civilians that are trying to seek aid, these systems are deployed consistent with their intended use. There are safety measures in place, and there have been multiple instances in which UG Solutions personnel have successfully dispersed crowds, saving the lives of women, children, and starving individuals unable to lift themselves out of a crush. Warning shots have been used to disperse crowds. But contrary to what Mr. Aguilar says, no UG personnel have ever directed warning shots at civilians. On the ground in Gaza, warning shots are directed upwards, in the air, and towards the coastline, not towards folks seeking aid. Let me be clear, the allegations from Mr. Aguilar regarding the use of force are false. It's also notable that Mr. Aguilar only worked for UG Solutions as a contractor for a total of 27 days, and more than half of that time he spent in a hotel in Israel instead of on the ground at the distribution sites. And not only did the events that he recounted never happen, but he wasn't even in the right place or at the right time to have seen the things that he claims to have seen. Mr. Aguilar's claims to the BBC and others that he was an eyewitness to IDF actions are false. He did not leave the static distribution site during operations, and from there, he would not have had a line of sight to any IDF assets that were behind high berms protecting the sites.
Good afternoon. I'm Chapin Fay, spokesperson for the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Several weeks ago, Tony Aguilar, a disgruntled former contractor who was fired for misconduct, went on a media tour filled with reckless, false claims about GHF. He revealed sensitive operational details that endangered the lives of his former colleagues, and most importantly, the aid seekers they serve. But the most dangerous lie he told was the story he invented out of whole cloth about a boy he called Amir, who he claimed was gunned down by the IDF in front of his eyes outside a GHF site. He said the boy kissed his hand and thanked him, and that these were his final words. As recently as yesterday, Mr. Aguilar has continued to embellish his story with every telling, recently saying Amir was shot in the torso, in the leg, and that he watched him die. Here's a clip.
and Amir was amongst them. A shot to the torso, a shot to the leg, dead. So for anyone that says that Amir is still alive and that didn't happen, where's Amir? Where is he? Where is he? Amir is dead, and he died at the hands of the IDF.
In late July, when Mr. Aguilar took his lies public, he splashed photos taken of the boy across global media, knowingly misrepresenting his interaction to create a false viral story. That publicity placed the child squarely in the crosshairs of Hamas, who have benefited greatly from Mr. Aguilar's lies and the media amplifying them. If the boy was proven alive, it would unravel their propaganda, expose Mr. Aguilar's lies, and discredit a narrative that Hamas has used to stoke outrage and violence. An alive, healthy boy doesn't serve Hamas. It directly threatens them. What is true is that Mr. Aguilar had a brief interaction with the boy on May 28th at our SDS-3 site, though Mr. Aguilar falsely claimed it was SDS-2, which didn't even open until early June. Mr. Aguilar's only words to the boy were, go home, okay, thank you. Let's watch the video Tony Aguilar recorded that day and listen to Mr. Aguilar in his own words.
This little young man here, obviously pretty young, he has food. Go home, okay? Thank you.
After that interaction, which lasted mere seconds, and in which no meaningful dialogue occurred, the boy returned to his stepmother's home unharmed, where he lived until July 28th, the same day Mr. Aguilar unleashed the boy's photo across the globe. GHF has been searching for this boy ever since, and today I have some incredible news to share. The boy is alive and safe. Falsely identified as Amir by Mr. Aguilar, his real name is Abdul Rahim Muhammad Hamdan. His family calls him Abood. He is almost 9 years old. After weeks of tireless high-risk work by the GHF team, he and his mother have been moved to a safe and secure location. We will not be disclosing their whereabouts at this time for their safety and security, but we have every belief that they are on their way to a new life. This outcome is thanks to our extraordinary relationship with the people of Gaza, our humanitarian team, and American veterans who relied on the deep trust built through GHF's daily aid delivery to find Abood and bring him to safety. They followed every lead, engaged in dozens of conversations with the community, and ultimately confirmed Abood's whereabouts through his stepmother, extended family, and finally his biological mother. He was brought to our SDS in disguise for his safety. We verified his identity through a variety of means, including biometrics and the very shirt he wore the day Mr. Aguilar claimed he saw him killed. What followed was a high-stakes, multinational diplomatic effort. We are grateful to the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem and to other countries in the region for their close coordination with GHF to make this rescue possible. I'd now like to share with you a brief clip of Abood's mother speaking with our team.
تمام. طيب انا هطلب منك بس طلب ان تفهمينا بس ان طبعا عايزه قررت ان انت قررتي تطلعي انت وعبود وفهد يعني الكاميرا موجوده وهم التصوير حاضر بس تقولوا لهم بالظبط انت عايزه تعملي الكلام ده بمحض ارادتك انت باختيارك بسلامتك وسلامتك اتفضل.
انا باختياري انا بدي اسافر مصلحه لابني باخذ فهد معايا ابن اختي.
وفهد هو ابن اختك صح؟
ابن اختي. ابن اختك ولي عني ند اخويا هو بده يطلع معايا.
اوكي.
ولا عني وانا بارادتي يعني محدش ضغط علي فكرت كثير ولقيت مصلحه ابني فانا عشان مصلحه ابني بدي اسافر. فرحان بايه؟
ماما.
قاعد مع ماما؟ طيب
شاء الله يا رب.
مستقبل
هاي اللي
زاهر
بتمناه.
إلك وابنك والفهد، بعيد عن كل المشاكل دي.
ان شاء الله يا رب.
شاء الله.
هاي اللي بتمناه، وانا عن جد بتشكركم مش لإلي، للطفل هذا بس، عن جد. عن جد.
حبيبي.
I'd now like to introduce a leader on our humanitarian aid team. For her safety, we will not share her name, face, or any identifying details, other than to note that prior to joining our team, she worked as a USAID contractor. The threats our teams face come not only from Hamas, but from a hostile media climate determined to discredit anyone associated with GHF. Recently, after Sean, one of our humanitarian experts, spoke at this very briefing, he was stalked and harassed. Protesters targeted him. Reporters dug through his background, not to verify facts, but to smear his reputation. That is the reality our team lives with. This experienced humanitarian woman is in the left picture. Please go ahead and share more about your interaction with Abood.
Hi, Chapin. Thank you. After weeks of searching, turning over every stone, and following every lead, I am relieved and grateful that Abood is happy and safe with his mother. It's hard to capture Abood in just a few words. He is a child full of life, overflowing with joy, curiosity, and laughter. Though he has faced more pain than any child should, Abood continues to shine. He has left a mark on all of us he's met here at GHF, and we won't soon forget him. He's a living, breathing reminder of why we do this work, not just to distribute aid, but to defend the dignity, safety, and futures of children like Abood.
Thank you for your service to this mission. This story ends in relief, but it nearly ended in tragedy because of one man's lies and a media ecosystem that was far too eager to amplify them. Imagine the kind of person who would endanger a child's life for 15 minutes of fame. That's what Tony Aguilar did. And the outlets, influencers, and individuals that gave him a platform, even after GHF and several journalists interested in the truth provided clear, contradicting facts, share in that responsibility. I'd like to spend a few minutes sharing more about how we found Abood and secured his safety. As soon as Mr. Aguilar's claims aired, GHF launched a search. GHF's leadership from the very top was clear that we needed to do whatever we could to try and locate the boy and bring him to safety. So how do we do that? Because so many people rely on our sites every day, our team has built deep relationships within the community based on trust and mutual respect. That trust allowed us to quietly begin showing Abood's photo to regular recipients and ask if anyone knew him or his family. One conversation led to another, and eventually we reached Abood's extended family. Our team, some of whom have backgrounds in hostage rescue, led a careful, step-by-step process to safely find Abood. We interviewed relatives, building a fuller picture of the family structure and Abood's whereabouts. We traced his steps from the day of the alleged incident to the day he ran away from his stepmother's home on July 28th to be with his biological mother. After further discussions, Abood's biological mother agreed to bring him to us in disguise. All the while, our team monitored Mr. Aguilar's media appearances, which over time were becoming more radical. We assessed Hamas's likely response. The risk was escalating quickly, and so we took action. Abood and his mother were evacuated to a secure location. We have known Abood was alive for weeks now. We could have exposed it sooner to protect our own reputation and discredit Mr. Aguilar, but safety came first. That decision guided our investigation, planning, and international coordination. And we succeeded. He is alive. He is safe. Today we celebrate this outcome, but we don't forget the cost. This child is alive because of quiet, determined work by people who choose service over spotlight and truth over theatrics. But make no mistake, this boy's life was put in danger by one man's reckless lies and a media ecosystem that failed its most basic test. From day one, there were verifiable facts that were ignored. The wrong location Aguilar cited, the circumstances of his termination, the counter testimony from his colleagues, and his erratic behavior. None of it stopped the headlines. Tony Aguilar's 15 minutes are up. He should be held accountable. So should the platforms that handed him a megaphone, the media outlets that ran his false claims without a shred of verification, and the public officials who echoed them without asking a single question. Every single one of them owes Abood and the public a retraction. And one final question for those who believed and repeated this lie. If you were so easily convinced by this story, one so completely false, what else have you believed about GHF that simply isn't true? We'll leave you with that. As for us, today, we're celebrating Abood's safety and preparing for tomorrow's aid delivery.